Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're going to discuss a case that comes with a trigger warning specifically for DV, which I'm sure you guys know what that stands for, right? Trying to censor for YouTube because it's early in the video. Thank you so much for being here with me to deep dive this case. We're going to start with a presentation. I've got Bodycam to show you. I've got a little bit of the hearing to show you as well, the court hearing that took place on March 9th of, that was on my birthday, of 2026, and also plenty of documents. So if you're ready for a deep dive, remember to hit the like and share and invite others to come and join us as well. I'm going to start with a presentation so that we understand what the case is about, right? I'd love to start with Bodycam, but I want you to know what are we even talking about, right? Okay, so hold on one second. There we go. All right. So the victim in this case, her name is Gabriella Perpetuo. I hope I said that right. I've heard different pronunciations. Perpetuo. I'm basing that on the court hearing, right? So Gabriella, so beautiful, only 29 years old, and she was murdered. She was born on August 19th of 1996. Sorry, I don't know why my voice is all shaky. Stop it. Okay. She was born on August 19th of 1996 in Massachusetts. She was the daughter of Brazilian immigrants Monique and Nilson Perpetuo. She has one older sister, and after high school, Gabriella moved to New York to pursue a path in clinical journalism, but then she later shifted to healthcare and she enrolled in a nursing program. I know that we have many registered nurses, many nurses in this community, so I think this case is going to hurt even more, yeah, so she was a very loving, caring person who was so close to graduating as a registered nurse. Indy says, thank you, Grizzly and Mods, also the best chat family on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. I have a purple ribbon on the screen there, which is for DV awareness. That's what that means. I'm also wearing purple in honor of that too, because it's just absolutely devastating. And you're going to be mad when you see the defendant's history. I'm like, what? Okay, so she was studying to become a registered nurse, RN, with a passion for pediatrics, specifically wanting to care for babies and work in neonatal or pediatric care. At the time of her death, she was just 3 months away from graduating and starting her dream career. Oh my word. Her mother, Monique, noted her dedication through long hours of studies and clinicals, saying that she was capable of doing it and she was going to be great and she was excited to do it, and so close. She worked so hard. So yeah, if you are a nurse, let us know in the chat. I know we have many nurses here, or former nurses, right? Maybe you retired. Let us know. The defendant in this case is Darren Lee, 31 years old. Now I'm just going to tell you a bit about him, just background so that you know, right? He was born in 1994 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He moved to Albany, Ohio in 6th grade. In high school, he played football. His mother, Candace Lee, is a former journalist who worked in Chattanooga and apparently also in Ohio as an anchor and PR specialist. So this must all be very, very devastating for her to hear what her son is accused of. In 2013, he attended Ohio State University. In 2014, he was part of Buckeyes national championship team. From 2016 to, that's a typo, 2021, he was drafted for NFL, the New York Jets, Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, and the Las Vegas Raiders. If anyone watches football, American football, if you follow any of this, do you know about this guy or no? Anyway, in 2021, his career ended when he was placed on injured or injury reserve for an undisclosed injury and then released with an injury settlement August 30th of 2021, which essentially means he hasn't been working since then. So that, I mean, is he trying to take out his anger on vulnerable people? Sounds like it. Now look at this. This is going to make you mad. Prior assault and domestic violence history. Okay, Copper Horse says retired RN, 45 years of service. Amazing. Thank you. Janelle as well. I see there's lots of you in here. Amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my word. Okay, so this prior assault and DV history. October 17th of 2022 in Ohio. So this guy has assaulted people in multiple states. Ohio, Florida, and Tennessee. Okay, so October 17th of 2022, Darren Lee allegedly assaults the mother of his child. He throws a phone at her head, causing bleeding, grabs her neck, punches a pillow beside her, and threatens to kill her. April 3rd to 4th of 2023, Dublin, Ohio. He was arrested on 2 counts each of misdemeanor domestic violence and assault. One incident involves punching his mother in the head or face 8 to 9 times, throwing her to the floor for both victims. Okay. In June of 2023, sorry, I just want to check. You can still see me and hear me, right? YouTube's being a little bit naughty. Stand by. You know how it goes on YouTube sometimes. Okay, I wish they would stop changing things. As long as you guys can see and hear me, then we are all good. All right, so June of 2023, he fails to appear in court, so an arrest warrant was issued. November of 2024, he posts bond to resolve the warrant. October 11th of 2024 in Florida, he's arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He pointed a gun at a man during an altercation at Cross Creek Fishing Camp while with Gabriella and claimed self-defense. An additional battery charge was filed. And then February of 2025, there was this Ohio plea deal. He pleads guilty to misdemeanor attempted assault and possessing counterfeit controlled substance. Domestic violence charge dismissed. He was sentenced to probation or community control, anger management, and no contact orders. June 30th of 2025, there was a Florida plea deal. And he pleads guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery. And he was placed on probation. Okay. So, thank you, mods, for helping with that. I told you, YouTube is being naughty. YouTube is being very naughty today. Thank you so much for refreshing and coming back. There we go. I'm just going to point at this. I'm going to point at this for those who can't hear me. All right, so he's got this whole history, as you can see, which is just unbelievable that, you know, he just had to do some community service and anger management and all of that. February of 2025, he pleads guilty to misdemeanor attempted assault in Ohio and possessing counterfeit controlled substances. The domestic violence charge is dismissed, and then he's sentenced to probation, community control, anger management, and no contact orders. And then June 30th of 2025, there's the Florida plea deal, as we went over. He pleads guilty to aggravated assault and deadly weapon and battery, and he's placed on probation. Just look at the mugshots. Oh my word. Okay, so we're going to February 5th of 2026. We're going to look at the body cam in a moment. Late January of 2026, Darren Lee and Gabriella, he's 31, she's 29. They move into a new rental home on Snow Cone Lane in Tennessee. So Ooltewah, did I say that right? In Tennessee, Hamilton County, near Chattanooga. On February 4th of 2026, Lee exchanges dozens of messages with ChatGPT asking how to handle an unresponsive person. And on February 5th of 2026, Darren Lee then calls 911. They register it as a CPR in progress. When the deputies get to the house, they find Gabriella deceased with horrific injuries all over her body, and he was arrested on scene. That's how bad that was. Like, they were like, immediately arrest this guy. So now I'm going to show you the body cam from that day. Now, I do want to say that this comes from the preliminary hearing that took place on March 9th of 2026. And so the audio is terrible. I've done my very best to improve the quality of this whole bit of body cam that they played in the courtroom. But, you know, the visuals aren't the best, the audio is not the best, but we could still hear it. I even put some subtitles. I don't know if they're all correct because some of it's a little bit inaudible. But we're going to do our best with this. I just want to show you Darren Lee's demeanor on the day, and they arrested him on that day on the spot. And then we're also going to be looking at when they did some Bluestar or luminol tests in the house and just how horrific the evidence was. Okay, so let's watch this together.
Should there be on you?
I think it'll pop on.
Okay.
Hopefully, if it doesn't in a second. Then.
30 seconds.
Looks like it's just coming from the end, Judge. I'll put this up here for you here.
This little blurred box is how they showed it in court. It's redacting graphic footage of the victim in the house.
I got his ID right here. She take like any pain pills or anything like that?
This is Darren Lee. This is the defendant now. Charged with murder and tampering with evidence. Arrested on this very day. Now, you know how I say Uncle Google's gonna get you? Damn, in this case, ChatGPT's gonna get you. For those who don't know, ChatGPT is an advanced AI artificial intelligence chatbot developed by OpenAI that uses generative pre-trained transformer models to engage in human-like text conversations. This guy wasn't Googling, he was having, well, we don't know, maybe he was Googling as well. He was having conversations for advice on how to handle an unresponsive person. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's keep watching.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. She always takes her vitamins or whatever, but I have no idea. I was just upset. I came down. When she was laying right there.
Where is she to you? My fiance. Where's her medicine? Does she have a list of medicines?
These are here, I don't know. Jesus.
Put more out here. Hey, sir. If you just hang out, let me get see you, okay?
Pack in my girl.
Where's your phone? We got your phone? Come on. We'll go right outside and talk while there.
They said we can go outside and just talk over there. So, yeah, you want to see, I don't even think I want to say allegedly, a liar. Like this guy, the reason he makes up for why is there so much broken stuff in the house? Like, why are things, there's shattered glass and it just seems odd. And wait till you hear his answer.
Yes, fine. Tell me, so what's going on? You said you were up there sleeping.
Yeah, I was asleep.
Okay, what was she doing last time you saw her? Do you know around what time you saw her last?
I don't know. I don't know if she's I guess went to take a shower. And then that's it. I was knocked out.
Around what time was that?
That's what I'm trying to figure had shattered because we left the window open, and so when it got warm, when we reheated the house, it just like exploded. So I was just cleaning that up. So that was before I was falling asleep.
Okay.
What? Did you hear that, Crab? Look.
The glass is shattered because
They say, why is there so much broken stuff in the house? Zelda says, that's what I'm wondering. Why is the house so unkempt? Is it a reflection of his mental state? I think it's a reflection of all the domestic violence that went on in there, allegedly. Because there's signs of a struggle everywhere. And wait till you see the luminol or Bluestar Reaagent results. It is horrifying. Gabriella suffered a lot all over the house. Amanda says, how are they always sleeping and don't hear anything? I mean, what were you doing? Oh, I was sleeping. He wants to go with, she slipped in the shower. So that's why her eyes are swollen shut and she has all these injuries. She must have slipped in the shower and then just, you know, I don't know, fallen asleep or something. He doesn't know what's going on. Like, wow. Mary said, retired nurse here, breaks my heart. How much you want to bet the defense is going to claim CTE, brain damage from football, impacts anger control? I will bet that as well. Of course they will. Thank you for being a member for 1 year. The glass is shattered because we had left, look,
we left the window open, and so
because we left the window open, and so it would have gotten warm when we reheated the house, and then it just exploded. That's his explanation for broken glass.
when it got warm, when we reheated the house, it just like exploded. So I was just cleaning that up. So that was before I was falling asleep.
Okay.
I thought she was gonna come down and like finish it up from the dustpan, but then I come back down, and then this is what happened. Is she okay? Is she okay?
I didn't work on it. I don't know what.
Did he watch any true crime? Because like, is she okay? Is she okay? He doesn't ask it with too much emotion, but just like, hey, is she okay? Yeah, the defense will definitely say, see, he asked if she's okay. All right, he was checking.
He said that, okay, so explain, so the window was open, so the house froze?
Yeah, it was cold. I didn't know that she like had it open, and so that just shattered. But like nothing was like.
You said then when you close the window, turn the heat on?
It just like, you know how it like shrinks and it shrinks. That's all I know.
He opened the window. The house froze. When they reheated the house, I don't know, shrinking, exploding, and that's the explanation for all the broken glass in the house. Right.
Is she okay?
They're still working on it. What is, what's her last name?
Perpetuo.
How do you spell that?
Perpetuo.
Her first name?
Gabriella. Gabriella.
Do you know her birthday?
Yes, 8/19/1996.
It is true. Shauna says they've only lived here for 1 week. Apparently, they moved into this house and had only lived there for 10 days when Gabriella was murdered.
No, it's on.
I don't know. Listen, I do what I do know from when it was like last week, our second day here. She had slipped. We were trying to get a bath mat. So I know she's like, 'cause I caught myself like before. That's why my left knee swollen. But I don't know what happens in shower. She takes long showers, like really long showers, and I have absolutely no idea.
Did he just laugh? He just has absolutely no idea. She takes long showers and they're trying to get a bath mat, but you know, she slipped. That's his story. That and the reheating of the house to, you know, shatter glass.
Please go. I can offer that.
What about the grab a charger? Grab a charger.
I can feel I need that disclaimer. He is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. He's currently charged with murder and tampering with evidence. And they arrested him on the spot. And damn, they've got a lot of evidence against him based on the preliminary hearing. But okay.
Oh my God, babe. I didn't see you. I see you inside the closet. Oh my God.
What is it you're looking for?
Looking for a big block.
Like a charging brick?
Yeah, the big one.
Jesus. You don't have kids in school?
We got kids?
Yeah.
No, sir.
You don't have kids that are, guys like you have kids that are about to get off the bus or something?
Oh my God.
I don't see that.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, Belle. Oh my God. So, see, oh my God.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, so
We'll get you a break out here. For sure.
Your fiance?
Cassie? Yeah.
Okay. What kind of
Now, what he was looking at, based on what they showed in the courtroom of all the blood evidence they found in the home, well, there was a lot of blood in the toilet, on the lid of the toilet and everything. So I don't know if he ran into the bathroom and now like, oh my God, look at that, I can't believe it. Okay.
so Tony's pregnant. She's pregnant? I don't know, sister, she's trying to be pregnant. Okay. Did she take medication? All medication downstairs. Okay. And when was the last time that you saw, is she Gabriella? Yes. When was the last time that you saw her before you found her like this?
Hey.
Right before my car? I wouldn't know because like you see the little pill bottles that she has, those little pill bottles that she has up there. That's I don't know. I don't even know she has those. She keeps them in her back. She keeps it in her backpack.
Come on.
She keeps it in her backpack.
Just finish talking. I'll have it yet.
Hold up. Sorry, hold up.
We'll get you one out here. Hold on for a sec.
Oh my God.
Tell us. Hold on a sec.
And so so I got here kind of late, so tell me what's going on with it.
So I came downstairs, I woke up, and she was already laying on the couch. I thought she was asleep. She was already laying on the couch when I got down. But beforehand, I don't know if she was going up or down. I don't know, is what I'm saying. And so I came down, and then like she was just laying on the couch on her side. And then I'm like, hey man, what do you want to eat? And she's wasn't saying anything, and that's why I called 911 immediately. I'm like, what is going on? Because waking up, I'm like, what the hell happened? Like I was out. I was sleeping a long time.
Okay. So he claims he was sleeping the whole time. Meanwhile, the day before, this was February 5th of 2026 when he had called 911 for an unresponsive person. And they came there thinking they're going to perform CPR, right? Okay, but they found the victim deceased, covered in injuries. Her eyes were swollen shut. It was horrifying based on everything that I've read, in all the documents and everything, which I'm still going to show you. He claims he doesn't know if she was going up and down and up and down. I don't know. He was sleeping for a long time. Just found her, lying on the couch and was trying to ask her, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And she wasn't responding, so he called 911. That's his story? I can't believe it.
I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what happened.
Is she bleeding?
What's up?
Is she bleeding?
Was she?
Yeah.
Like actually, I don't know.
I didn't see her just now.
Oh,
I didn't go up there. I don't know. So what is there? So someone was bleeding because there's blood going down the stairs.
Yeah, it was probably her. If you look back in the shower, there was a blood right there. I don't know if she fell and tried to get down. I didn't hear it. Like you can't really hear much.
Y'all sleep in separate rooms?
Yeah, because we have tradition putting up her bed yet, my bed frame. I don't know if she, like, when she got in there, she felt like, I have no idea.
Wait, do what? What'd you say?
They're still working on her. Hold on, no questions. Because let's see, I need to do this.
Thanks. Okay. He just like made a comment about, I don't know if she died, if she died in there. I think she died in the shower downstairs. There's blood, there's handprints, and bloody handprints.
And also we got a press clip that just they're on it. Just do not let it on your side. No one.
Just hang them in a car or something. It's a big report.
Seriously, I want to work this. Because, yeah.
Ooh, October T 14 says they better not try the sleepwalking defense. Imagine, oh my word.
Can you have my baby?
No, hold on right now before we go back in.
Please.
Give us a minute.
Okay, so when's the last time you actually talked to her? When she talked back to you?
I saw that yesterday evening about 6 I didn't
You been here the whole time?
About there though? Yeah. No, Brandon did some errands.
When did you come back?
I think I was about like 5-10 minutes like after, but she was still awake. Yeah, she was still awake though. And then I came back and I was like, so what's going on?
See, that coughing is from the courtroom. That's the court cougher. There's always one.
We're going to put it in the car. We got it. All right. We got some people coming out here. They're going to talk.
No, that's the extent of the state's proof when it comes to that video. I don't know. Just a little.
Okay.
Who recognizes that voice and that lady? That is District Attorney COTY WAMP. Do you remember how awesome she was at the Jason Chen trial? Oh my word, and she's the lead prosecutor on this case. So even based on that, good luck, sir. You don't stand a chance. She is absolutely brilliant. So we've gone over the first slides in my presentation here. February 5th of 2026 is when all of this happened, right? When he called 911. So on February 4th of 2026, Darren Lee was exchanging dozens of messages with ChatGPT. I'm going to show you more about that, asking how to handle an unresponsive person. And on February 5th, he called 911. As you just saw the body cam, CPR in progress. They found the victim deceased. Now, Darren Lee under Xander Lee owner, that's the name, his handle, I suppose, the name that he used on ChatGPT. That was his account name, right? He conversed with ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence bot, right? Having a conversation. And ChatGPT was named Ali or assistant. And Ali's messages are in blue and he's in green. Okay, so here's just a summary of what they went over at the preliminary hearing. And then I'm also going to show you parts of the clips from the preliminary hearing. As I said, the audio is just pretty awful from that hearing, unfortunately, from every feed I could find. So we're just going to watch the ChatGPT part instead of the whole 28-minute hearing. But I will link the full hearing for you so you can check it out. But I've brought in as much of that into this as possible right today. So on February 4th at 11:18, he said, "Don't know what to do right now. Fiance did her crazy thing again and now she's messed up. I wake up and she has 2 swollen eyes. I didn't do anything. So she stabbed herself, slit her eye. I don't know, because she isn't waking up. What do I do?" That's what he asked ChatGPT. He asked what to tell a friend to handle a non-responsive person who wants to call police but doesn't want to refer back or frame as police trouble. He inquired about injuries from a slip or fall in the shower. So that's where he got that idea. And he said there's stabby looking wounds, swollen eyes, and puncture wounds. ChatGPT responded with explanations. For example, it's possible with these types of injuries under specific conditions, small deep punctures, swelling maybe later. Sent photos like broken glass, shower door, hands with injuries. That's what ChatGPT sent back as an example of what maybe injuries could look like if somebody fell in the shower. Then he asked for advice on physical signs of a slip or fall in the bathroom. ChatGPT gave detailed responses and asked follow-ups like the location on the body, the number, the depth of punctures to sanity check. And Darren Lee described that there was a bruise below 2 stabby-looking wounds. Woo, Uncle Google gonna get you, but you know ChatGPT is gonna get you even worse. Both eyes swollen, usual casual terms like lol, LMAO, LMA, bet she got blood all over the damn place. Focused on making it seem like an EMS or medical issue, not police matter. ChatGPT provided lengthy advice, including, here's exactly what to tell your friend. This is the safest way without framing it as police trouble. Okay, and so here are some screenshots. I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to also show you part of the hearing. But you could just see the examples of what he had asked. His messages are in green, and Ali, the assistant on ChatGPT, is blue. So don't know what to do right now. Fiance did her crazy thing again. You can see there it's 11:18 a.m. the day before he called 911. So for him to call 911 the next day and be like, I don't know, man, I asked her if she wants something to eat and she was just like not responding, so I called 911. She was deceased, and by the signs of it, for quite some time. Okay, so he said she's messed up. I wake up and she has 2 swollen eyes. I didn't do anything. Self-inflicted. She stabbed herself, slit her eye, question mark. I don't know, but she isn't waking up or responding. What do I do? He said, Ellie, what should I tell my friend to handle someone non-responsive but wants to call the police? Real Happy 33 said, we've got a real gem on our hands. Yes. So then said, doesn't want to call the police, to correct it himself. No, don't want to call the police, but what should I do? Trigger warning for the Bluestar Reaagent screenshots I have here for you now. So they tested for the presence of blood in the house. It was all over the house, everywhere. Top floor, bottom floor, kitchen, bathroom, toilet, bedroom, couch, everywhere, living room. So ChatGPT said, got it. Doesn't want to call the police. Here's exactly what to tell your friend. This is the safest way to frame it as, and I can't see the rest of the sentence because it was cut off in the courtroom, but as police trouble. Okay. Hey, Ali, what are physical signs of injury of a slip and fall in the bathroom shower? So these are some of the screenshots, some of the exhibits that they showed at this preliminary hearing. Look at this. Look at this Bluestar Reaagent reaction in the house. Look at the broken glass that he says was from reheating the house. Yeah, no, because he opened the window, it got cold, they reheated the house. Explosion. He said, both her eyes are swollen, question mark, and ChatGPT said, oh, okay, pause the jokes for half a second because both possible from a fall, but it crosses into get checked. Let me break it down cleanly, how a fall can cause both eyes to swell. So even artificial intelligence was like, this is sounding weird. This is sounding a little suspicious now. Like, bro, let's just stop the jokes for a moment. So yeah, he was joking around while asking ChatGPT things. Look at this. It says, that's where we go into the bedroom where Mr. Lee is for the, I don't know, it's some of their subtitles in the courtroom. They actually said in the beginning of the hearing that the subtitles are incorrect because some of it you just can't hear. But the point is, look at the Bluestar Reaagent reaction. This is upstairs. Okay. Also, so no wonder they arrested him immediately thinking this is very strange, and they tried to interview him. So we'll read the documents. This is attempted to interview him. But when they did these tests, I'm sure they were all absolutely horrified. It's on, now this is downstairs. This is by the kitchen sink. There's also more images of in the sink, on a bottle of alcohol, blood all over it, on the outside of it. Look at the bedroom. And again, trigger warning. It's like you can actually almost see like handprints and all this, presumptive blood from this luminol testing. Oh my goodness. Look at this. They said that they made that cut in the material in the couch to take a cutting of it with them. So it's not like he sliced the couch like that. But yeah, they clarified that at the hearing. But just look at it. It's all over the kitchen, all over the lounge, bathroom, living room, upstairs, downstairs, goes to his car as well. Look at his car. That's the passenger seat, apparently, right? That's what they said at the hearing. Look at the handprints. Look at the toilet. That's what I'm saying. I think he was running into the bathroom, like looking for a charger, like, oh my God, we saw the toilet. And I'm like, what? It was everywhere. And he wants people to believe she must have slipped in the shower. This is the shower reaction to the Bluestar Reaagent. That is absolutely horrifying. And they asked, could you see it with your naked eye? Said the officer at the hearing said, not like, no, little bits that they thought there could be blood in the shower, but when they tested it, the way this glowed, it's truly horrifying, right? And to think that he was, again, asking ChatGPT the day before, on February 4th of 2026 at 11 a.m., just after 11 a.m., and only called 911 the next day on February 5th. And that was at around 1:34 p.m. Like more than 24 hours later, 26 hours later. So on February 11th of 2026, the judge ordered that he be held on no bond at a bond hearing due to Darren Lee's prior violent history and probation status. Well, thank you, Judge. It's about time, right? This guy's got a whole history of domestic violence. Mid-February, Gabriella's family files a $50 million wrongful death lawsuit. We're going to read through it together. It's only 3 pages. On March 9th of 2026, a preliminary hearing was held in Hamilton County General Sessions Court. The judge finds probable cause and binds the case over to the grand jury. Prosecutors indicate that they may seek the death penalty. Darren Lee is in the Hamilton County Jail, again on no bond. And the case is now with the grand jury for indictment. So we'll have to wait to see, I'm sure they will indict him. We'll wait for that grand jury indictment, right? So J.G.L. Hendricks said, this is multiple events. He beat her all the time. Probably, yes. But it also, it's horrifying, right? To see all that evidence everywhere. Okay, so that is the presentation. Now, let me first show you the documents, and then I'm going to show you the part of the hearing where they talked about the ChatGPT messages, just to explain that a little bit more. All right, so here we go. Let me just resize it for us nicely. Thank you so much to Grizzly Cat for obtaining these documents for us so that I can really deep dive this case with you. So it says affidavit of complaint. At the top of the document, it just starts like this. Uniform arrest report, affidavit of complaint with all the booking information and everything, right? Darren Alexander Lee. So that's why he was Xander Lee on ChatGPT. Okay, so we're just going to go down here to where you can read the narrative from the police. It says the undersigned affiant, after being duly sworn according to the law, state that Lee, Darren Alexander, whose name is otherwise unknown to the affiant, committed the offense of first-degree murder in the above county on or above it was the 5th of February of 2026. Further, the affiant makes an oath that the essential facts constituting said offense, the sources of affiant's information, and the reasons why his or her information is believable concerning said facts are as follows. On February 5th of 2026, at approximately 13:34 hours, so 1:34 p.m., deputies were dispatched to a residence in the 7500 block of Snow Cone Way in reference to a CPR in progress. Yeah, I want to hear that call. That's not out yet. Upon arrival, deputies with the HCSO and first responders from Tricom Volunteer Fire Department assessed the victim and determined she was deceased. Emergency services personnel noticed trauma to her body. Deputies met a male subject who was identified as Darren Lee, which you saw the body cam, and were told that Lee located the victim unconscious on the couch. While speaking with the decedent's boyfriend, who was identified as Darren Lee, deputies observed multiple concerning conditions within the residence. There were no signs of forced entry, and all doors and windows were intact and secured. Deputies observed broken glass scattered across the kitchen area. Lee told deputies that he believed the victim may have fallen in the shower. However, there was extensive blood evidence throughout multiple areas of the residence that was not consistent with Lee's statements. These included suspected blood spatter on the walls and flooring in multiple locations, and cleaning materials in abnormal places. I mean, all that blood evidence could be from that day before. I'm sure there's also other blood evidence from other assaults that he would have allegedly committed. Sure, but that's like a horror house at that point, right? So, based on the observations and the totality of the circumstances, deputies removed and detained Lee, secured the scene, and applied for a search warrant. Lee was transported to the HCSO, Law Enforcement Operations Center, advised of his Miranda waiver, and an interview was attempted by the detectives. Lee invoked his rights and refused to speak with the detectives. So we're not going to get to see any police interview anytime soon because he didn't do one. Which is smart of him. I know people say, someone's always going to bite my head off. He's got rights, Grizzly. You shouldn't speak to the police. I know, but I'm just saying we won't be able to see his police interview, okay? We like to see police interviews, right? Stefan says he found her on the couch and his conclusion was that she slept in the bathroom. Yes. Must have slept in the bathroom. Must have then walked downstairs. That's why there's blood on the stairway. Must have just, I don't know, gone for a nap on the couch. Wow. And then he phones for CPR. Okay, assistance. So this says, to speak with detectives. While collecting Lee's clothing, detectives observed injuries that were consistent with a violent altercation, including facial injury, lacerations to his hands, and wounds on his chest. Furthermore, detectives observed blood inside the protective case on Lee's cell phone. Lee's cell phone was seized, as was the clothing that he was wearing. He was then transported to the HCSO jail. Detectives executed a search warrant at the residence at 18:31 hours. Members of the HCSO crime scene unit and the Hamilton County Medical Examiner's Office processed the scene and the victim. The victim, again, trigger warning for domestic violence. The victim had multiple kinds of trauma to her body, including what appeared to be a 1-inch long penetrating stab wound to the abdomen, a large bruise to her head, black eyes with heavy swelling, multiple bruises on her arms and torso, what appeared to be a large circular human bite mark to the shoulder, and dried blood on her face and neck. At the direction of the medical examiner's office, she was transported to the forensic center for an autopsy. HCSO crime scene detectives documented and collected evidence all over the house. The evidence collected was consistent with a violent altercation. Additionally, alcohol, narcotics, and a firearm were located and secured. Crime scene detectives utilized Bluestar and identified suspected blood evidence that had been attempted to clean in multiple areas of the house. Cleaning materials were also located in areas where Bluestar testing uncovered blood stains, but no visible blood was observed. These findings indicate an attempt to remove, alter, or conceal evidence related to the violent crime. Based on the training and experience of the affiant, the number and location of the injuries to the victim, the widespread blood evidence throughout the residence, attempt to clean or conceal blood stains, Lee's demeanor, injuries, and his presence at the residence, investigators believe probable cause exists to charge Darren Lee with first-degree murder and with tampering with evidence. So they first say first-degree murder. Additionally, evidence is consistent with intentional removal, cleaning, or alteration of blood evidence following the violent incident in violation of that code, tampering with evidence. If the defendant's charge is dismissed, a no true bill is returned, and all of this, right? So this has been bound over to the grand jury for indictment. Okay, so this is Darren Lee Alexander again. You can just see the bottom of the document here and what his charges are. Okay, so we will get back to the wrongful death lawsuit. I just first want to show you this ChatGPT part of the hearing, which is going to be this one here. And again, I'm going to tell you the court audio is not great. I boosted it for us, but it's not the best. Just hold on one second. I just want to make sure I boosted it nicely for us. Let's go like this. Wait. Turn it off, turn it back on so that it's nicely boosted. I hope we can hear nicely. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, but when we get it, we start doing that.
Your knowledge, is the date and time on the bottom of these messages correct?
Yes, so that's not correct.
Okay. And this one, can you tell if this is from Mr. Lee or from Allie, from ChatGPT?
This would be the green, would be Mr. Lee. This is his
question to ChatGPT.
Can you read it out loud, please?
Yes, it says, don't know what to do right now. Fiance did her crazy thing again, and now she's messed up. I wake up and she has 2 swollen eyes. I didn't do anything. Self-inflicted. She stabbed herself, split her eye. I don't know because she isn't waking up or responding. What do I do?
What's the date on the bottom of this?
It's February the 4th, 2026 at 11:18:09.
What day did you respond to Snow Cone Way with a, what was a CPR progress but ended up being a deceased individual in the home?
It'll be the 5th, I think.
That's DA COTY WAMP. We love her. If you didn't watch the Jason Chen trial with us, go check it out. The replay is always there for you. My goodness, she really fights for justice for the victims of crime, like so passionately. So.
Recall about what time that was on February 5th?
It was a little after 2.
Thank you. And you testified that the green would be Mr. Lee. How can you describe for the court? We're not publishing to the court all of these messages, but can you describe for the court sort of how ChatGPT works in terms of the green and the blue, and what overall Mr. Lee is having conversation in regarding to with Allie, who is ChatGPT for him?
So if you look at the green, it says from user, and it has his name, Xander Lee, owner. And then the blue, it says from assistant ChatGPT. That's who he named as Allie. And you can see in this message here, he says, Allie, what should I tell my friend to handle someone non-responsive but wants to call the police? That would be him talking to ChatGPT. It's from him, the user, and the blue would be from assistant ChatGPT.
Between the 4th and the 5th, does he have multiple conversations with ChatGPT?
Yes.
What is he talking about in his messages?
He's talking about injuries to, as he says, a friend of his has contacted him, and there's his friend's fiance, and wants to know how to go about calling EMS but not getting the police involved.
Okay. And are these messages always talking about a friend?
Yes. That's where some of them, it sounds like he's still trying to act like he's asking for a friend, and then they are his own. But,
Okay. And does ChatGPT consistently respond to his questions?
yes,
Would you describe ChatGPT's responses as lengthy?
very.
Does ChatGPT ever send photos to Mr. Lee to help explain
Mr. Lee.
the answer to the question that Mr. Lee's asked?
Yes, one question was, if you fell in the shower, what would it look like if you fell in the shower? ChatGPT sent back a picture of a shower with broken glass in the shower, I assume from a glass shower door. There was blood in the shower. We didn't know what that was. We saw the picture, like, what's this picture from? Because it didn't look like any bathrooms in the house. Then asked ChatGPT what would injuries look like on your hands if you were involved in an altercation. ChatGPT sent back pictures of hands, which were the top of the hands, and then some injuries on the hands. Obviously, weren't his hands.
Okay. And did ChatGPT throughout this conversation appear to give Mr. Lee advice?
They did, yes.
Okay.
So you can see these are the subtitles that were uploaded by all the court fees, right? They're a little off. It can happen. You get the gist of what they were talking about. I just wanted to show it to you so you could see. I'm going to link this full hearing for you. It's 28 minutes. But yeah, you're going to have to boost it because my goodness, Shane, the audio was terrible. But they just went over, look how lengthy ChatGPT's answers can be, which would be from assistant ChatGPT. Yeah, it can happen, but there's an importance here, then it's cut off. The way that they show the TV in the courtroom. So it wasn't ideal. We can't see it like proper exhibits, like the full thing, but they're showing good examples of how ChatGPT would have answered. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this sound off quickly here. I want to show you this again, trigger warning. I want to go through some of this Bluestar Reaagent evidence from that they showed at the preliminary hearing. I showed you some of the screenshots. So I'm just going to play it like this. See that right? That word is not right. Did you see that? I was like, wait, what? I had to listen to it a few times earlier. Masturbating? What? No. No, none of that. That's not what was said. I think they actually said Mr. Lee was at the end. Anyway, perhaps I would even do that so we don't have to see the subtitles from the court. Okay, so have a look at this. Now remember that we learned this especially in Chandler Halderson's trial, but in all the trials we watch when there is like this Bluestar Reaagent or luminol testing, they do say that bleach can make the Bluestar Reaagent react in a similar way, right? And so just remember that, because there could be part of this is blood and part of this would be the cleanup with the bleach. So, oh, my bad.
In between the opening on the right-hand side, that's going to be going to the bathroom where Mr. Lee was looking for his brick, or the cell phone brick. It'll be down that hallway. There's a bathroom to the right of that hallway.
Okay.
And again, because the audio is absolutely awful, I'm just going to go forward for us so that you can just see it. It's just absolutely everywhere. Look at it. The master bedroom. Look at it. Oh my word. After this, we're still going to go over the wrongful death lawsuit quickly as well. I just wanted to show you just a few more images than I had captured because, whoa. Yeah, good luck to him if he pleads not guilty throughout, meaning never accepts, I don't know if a plea deal, there's no plea deal on offer at the moment. It just could be a death penalty case, and sometimes we see that could happen, right? If this guy takes us all to trial, damn, which is his right, he has the right to a fair trial, but my goodness, there's a lot of evidence against him, right? Okay, so look there as well, on the wall there as well. In the kitchen, I showed you some of this already. There as well. Clearly, and then on this little vacuum, this is a little vacuum, right? Yeah, looks like it. Stefan says, please no plea deal with all the evidence. Look at the door. They say this is the garage. Sure. When they did this testing, I just think they must have all been jaw on the floor. Like, what? Right? So look there, you can see in the kitchen sink as well. My goodness. Wow. There was some alcohol left in the bottle. The broken glass, front glass in the microwave, they say there. Yeah, no, because they reheated the house, okay? that was his dumbass reasoning. And this, I think I pretty much showed you everything else after that. There's some of this evidence as well in the master bedroom. Oh yeah, steam cleaner says, LMO, steam cleaner so you could clean the carpets. Oh my word. Sure. Feel so sorry for the victim. Trigger warning for the toilet. Stefan said the blood is everywhere. Yes. Even on there. And to me, when I saw the shower one, this is just, oh my goodness. That's bad. So he claims, yeah, she slipped in the shower. Is that what his defense will be? She did it to herself, huh? She slipped in the shower. Stabbed herself? Just like he said to ChatGPT. Shame. The defense has an absolute understatement. Okay, uphill battle. Can you imagine being his defense attorney? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've seen that. Now I want to show you one more thing here, which will be the wrongful death lawsuit. Wait, we've seen the preliminary hearing now from, and again, I'll link the full one for you. This, by the way, is Florida Department of Corrections violation report. You know, he violated his probation conditions by committing murder. And this was for domestic violence in Florida, Ohio, and Tennessee. So that's what this document is all about. And this is a repeat of what we already read. Violation of probation. Well, yeah. And this is what I want to show you, which is a wrongful death complaint filed by Gabriella's family. Now, I just redacted her mom's name. just for her privacy. I think it's her mom's name. It's a long name. I just redacted it just in case. Okay, so in the Circuit Court of Hamilton County, Tennessee, plaintiff versus Darren Alexander Lee Jr., wrongful death complaint. The plaintiff, Carvalho, individually and as duly appointed administrator of the estate of Gabriella Carvalho Perpetuo, is a resident of Broward County, Florida. The defendant, Darren Alexander of Hamilton County, Tennessee. He can be served with process CO Tim Davis, Hamilton County Jail. He can be served in the jail. That's where he's at. Okay. The acts and omissions giving rise to this cause of action occurred in Hamilton County, Tennessee. Therefore, this court has proper venue and jurisdiction of this cause of action. On or about February 5th of 2026, the defendant intentionally, unlawfully, maliciously, and violently attacked and assaulted decedent Gabriella Carvalho Perpetuo. As a result of the defendant's intentional assault, the decedent sustained severe bodily injuries, including but not limited to blunt force trauma to the head, resulting in a severe brain injury, a fractured cervical spine or neck, multiple puncture and stab wounds to the chest, abdomen, and leg, extensive abrasions and bruising to the left side of her face, and human bite marks found on the decedent's body consistent with a violent physical struggle and intentional assault. Sleuthy Sweetheart, thanks for being a member for 14 months. You said, I thought Google searches were bad, but now ChatGPT advice, that's next level. You see, there's been a few times where I'm like, there will be a case that we will see where it's going to change from Google searches, maybe also did Google searches, but to like, oh, you were consulting with ChatGPT. This is the first case I've covered where this has now happened. I've been waiting for it because we know criminals are going to do that, huh? They're going to be asking all sorts of things to AI, and here we have a good example of that. Okay, so it says Hamilton County Medical Examiner Stephen Cogswell determined that Gabriella Carvalho Perpetuo's cause of death was blunt force trauma consistent with the injuries inflicted by the defendant. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's intentional and wrongful conduct, the decedent experienced conscious pre-death physical pain, suffering, and extreme mental anguish, including fear and awareness of impending death prior to succumbing to her injuries. Now, the reason they're also doing this is because he played, in the National Football League for the NFL. He hasn't worked for 5 years, but apparently there's a very big NFL pension that he would have. And what the attorneys representing the victims' families are doing with this wrongful death lawsuit as well is trying to make sure he doesn't get access to that he can't just benefit from that NFL pension. Okay, so, thank you so much. Sorry, Anita, I didn't say. Anita, thank you for being a member for 35 months. You said, thank you, G, for all you do. Justice for Gabriella. Yeah, I really hope so, right? CEO Laura May said, how is there so much blood in the shower if it started in the car? Well, that's where he would have rinsed himself off, isn't it? And then probably bleached a little bit. Okay, so it says here, the decedent's estate incurred funeral, burial, and related expenses as a direct and proximate result of the defendant's conduct. The plaintiff, Ms. Carvalho Perpetuo, is the administrator of the estate and is the proper party to bring a claim for Gabriella's pre-death pain and suffering and for recovering of funeral and related expenses. Pursuant to this code and applicable Tennessee wrongful death statutes, the defendant is liable to the plaintiff for all damages recoverable under law, including but not limited to pre-death pain and suffering of Gabriella and her funeral expenses. Carvalho Perpetuo is the surviving parent, is the proper party to bring a claim for the wrongful death of Gabriella and to recover the full value of the decedent's life, including loss of love, companionship, society, and services. The defendant's conduct was intentional, malicious, reckless, willful, and exhibited a conscious disregard for human life, including the infliction of multiple forms of traumatic injury and bite wounds, thereby justifying an award of punitive damages. The bite wounds are just extra disturbing. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's egregious conduct, the plaintiff seeks punitive damages in an amount sufficient to punish the defendant and to deter similar conduct in the future. Wherefore, the plaintiff prays that she have a trial on all issues and judgment against the defendant as follows. The plaintiff recover the full value of life of the decedent. The plaintiff recover for the decedent's pre-death mental and physical pain and suffering, funeral expenses, and related expenses. The plaintiff recover on behalf of her daughter compensatory damages in the amount of $25 million and in the plaintiff recover on behalf of her daughter's punitive damages in an amount of no less than $25 million. That the court order an injunction preventing the defendant from monetizing in any way, shape or form from the tragic events surrounding the plaintiff's death. The plaintiff recovers such other and further relief as is just and proper, and that all issues be tried before a jury. Okay, so what we've gone over today, if you're only joining now, is a presentation to give you an idea of who the victim is. I do not know exactly where she met him and when. Like, I do not know exactly how long they've been dating, but it seems to go back to around 2024-ish. So I do know that they just moved into the house where Gabriella was murdered 10 days prior to her being murdered. So that is truly scary. My goodness. I mean, who knows? I don't know even exactly where she lived before, where he lived before, and all of that. I'm sure we'll find out more as we go along. But what we went over was a presentation, the body cam that they showed at the preliminary hearing on the 9th of March of 2026. These are early days in this case because that was the prelim. 9th of March, today's the 18th of March. Now the judge has bound the case over to the grand jury for a grand jury indictment. So we're yet to hear, I'm sure we'll hear even more evidence from that. Oh my goodness. And from that indictment we shall see, unless of course they seal things. And we also went over portions of that hearing, which I'll link the full one for you, and the documents. So this is as deep a dive as I can do right now. I will certainly keep you posted. I do want to follow this case. I do hope that this will go to trial, that we will be able to see DA COTY WAMP in action again, because she is absolutely amazing, right? Akita Lover said, lawsuit states February 5th. However, I thought she was deceased on the 4th. Well, they normally register the person deceased on the day they were found. So let me quickly see. She's got an obituary as well, which also says, her obituary says August 19th, 1996 to February 5th of 2026. I'm going to link her obituary page as well, because there's a video there. There's some music, so I can't play that on YouTube because it could, you know, get copyright struck and the whole video will get taken down. But it's a really beautiful video with lots of pictures of her from when she was a little girl all the way to when she was, 29 years old, forever 29, which is just so sad. At this time, because I'm discussing a DV case, domestic violence, I will teach you the distress signal in case you didn't know it. This is what it looks like. If you see anyone doing this, it means you need to call the police. This is officially the domestic violence distress signals. Sorry, wait. All fingers down, not pinky up. There you go. If you see someone doing that, it may also be a distress signal in general. Maybe they were abducted or they just need your help or something. It means you need to talk to a manager, call the police, do something, right? Be careful to intervene because the person they're with could be very, very dangerous. So thank you so much for deep diving this case with me. I will certainly keep you posted. And that's all I can say for now. I don't want to go, but I got to go. Bye, everyone. Stay safe.